Your recruiting story with Coach Williams. What was that like? What was it like having Coach Williams come and recruit you?
Well, like everything else in my life, hard work garnered me the respect and the opportunities that I've gotten in my life. It wasn't given. I'm the youngest of 6. All 5 of my siblings got scholarship offers and played Division I, with the exception of my sister, who just didn't want to play college athletics. But I was on I was known because of that, because of my brothers. But at the same time, no one was recruiting me in San Diego. I was just another big white guy, But then my sophomore year of high school, I was getting recruited. I got letters, and my first one I got from Jim Boeheim at Syracuse in 7th grade. Because that was back when they mailed you letters. You guys know what letters are?
Yeah,
I know.
It wasn't an email. It wasn't Twitter. I was, known because of my family and because of the size and all that. But, I still wasn't getting really looked at until I started beating up guys that were signed, that were getting looked at. And all of a sudden, so I had Jerry Green, who was one of Roy's assistants that never was actually there when I was there. He was the first one that saw me, and then he took a job somewhere else, I think Oregon or Tennessee. I can't remember which one he went to first. And then it went to Kevin Stallings, who was another assistant. And Kevin said the same thing, like, hey, you got to check this kid out. And then Roy showed up, and Roy took over. It made me feel special because I jumped from assistant to the head man himself. And that's the only person I talked to from that point on once Roy took over. So I picked KU because of Roy. I was going to stay home. I grew up in San Diego, and I wanted to go to UCLA really bad, or Arizona. I actually verbally committed to Arizona. They had me out, had one of my former college. We didn't play together, but a kid that went to my high school was my host at Arizona. They took me to a party, and there was a lot of pretty girls there, and I liked that. And so I verbally committed to Arizona. Lute Olson's wife made me breakfast after the party. They treated me pretty special. But I would say the one thing was at practice, the team was down on the court practicing, and Lute was up in the stands just sitting there, just watching. And then people would come in and start talking to him, and he'd talk to them, and the practice is going on, and he's just kind of like not really paying attention. The assistants were running the practice. I thought that was a little weird. But Roy took a vested interest, or at least it seemed like it. And Roy made me feel special. He made me feel like I was the only one that he was recruiting. He said he wasn't going to eat dessert until I committed somewhere. And so that's how I committed to him, actually, is when I was out there for late night, and back then it was midnight. And being in San Diego, it's not really an indoor sports city. I'd never seen 17,000 people inside ever in my life. And it was midnight. I was like, what is wrong with these people? I just had never heard of that. And it was amazing to me. And so that helped for sure. But it was also, Roy was Roy. And back to my brothers, they all went to college, and all of their coaches changed during their time in college, and they all ended up transferring. And I didn't want that. And so I said, Coach, if you promise me you're not leaving, you're not going to get fired. I know that, but you're not leaving to go back to North Carolina, then I'm coming here. And he promised me. He said, I'm not going anywhere. This is where I want to be. Funny story. I heard, I don't know if this is true. You'd have to ask everybody since me, but I heard that promise was told through generations. And the last guys that he promised were Kirk Heinrich and Nick Collison, because everybody else made him promise that he wasn't leaving, and he made that promise. And Nick and Kirk were the last guys that he promised that he wasn't going to leave. So like I said, I think I heard that, but I don't know for sure if that's true. But Roy he still is like a father figure to me. I lost my dad in high school, so I kind of went through the recruiting part alone with my mom, and I was homeless for a little while. I was couch surfing. My mom went to go live with one of my brothers, and so I stayed in San Diego my junior year, and I was just kind of like living with whoever would live me. I wasn't like homeless on the street, but I wasn't in the house with my mom. And, so I definitely needed somebody that was going to be there and be a father figure for me. And Roy was that guy. He just called me a little while ago to check in on me. So we've kept in touch, even though he has no reason to keep in touch with me. He's still that guy for me.
That's super, super cool. I've only heard good things about Roy. I was obviously probably around 4 years old when he left Kansas, so I had a little bit of hatred for him, but that was just because he left, and I knew everybody in my household was super upset about it. He left the program leaps and bounds ahead of where it was. So Roy, he played a pivotal part in college basketball history.
Oh, I was pissed at him too, by the way. Just so you know. I was like, you're going to go back and follow Dean Smith? There was actually a little bit of I was in the papers. I got quoted. I said some not so nice things about Roy. I was pissed off that he left. And, I wanted him to be the guy forever at Kansas, the guy that retired at Kansas. And, I'll never forget Danny Manning's statement when that happened, the transition to Bill Self. And Danny said, Kansas basketball was great before Roy Williams. Kansas basketball was great with Roy Williams, and Kansas basketball is going to be great after Roy Williams. And he's right.
Yeah,